people storming the streets. This is so infuriating.
Do you know what it is? Is they bought the propaganda. And because
it's not about much more your regrets, but I have one. And that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab. And early on that became like a right-wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now, there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown virus out. So, but that became a very partisan thing. And now it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea that.
Let's talk about another thing in the diary that was brought to light that he lied about, the COVID origins. All right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. On January of 2020, he wrote in his diary, it now appears using EPI data and genomic data that the first infection was in early December and was not connected to the market. Now we know the market was not the source. It was the amplifier. Then in January of 2020, January 31st through February 1st of 2020, he recorded a conference call with roughly a dozen top scientists. Only 2 firmly believed the virus was natural. The rest thought deliberate insertion was possible, specifically citing Xi Jinping's gain-of-function work on coronaviruses, adapting the spike to human ACE2 and the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Fauci noted the issue. We could not let this go. But his public stance was very different. For months and years afterward, he repeatedly described the evidence as totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human. He downplayed the lab leak hypothesis and in early statements treated serious discussion of lab involvement as fringe or conspiracy territory. He later claimed he always kept an open mind. Shelley, this is huge. He's clearly writing in his diary. He knew that this was a lab leak, and in public, he's saying it came from a species.
From this, and you're right, KJ. That January 26th entry, and right before that, at the end of the January 25th, that day before, he had the audacity to ask, "Why are the Chinese reacting so dramatically by essentially shutting down the entire country?" Then this bastard gets here on TV in DC and advocates that everything gets shut down. Then he lies about it. Of course, he didn't tell anybody, but he talked to the governor of California, certainly New York, and whomever else to say, he was applauding them for shutting it down. This is the height of arrogance. He doesn't even want to own anything. And his little computer skills, whatever, he kept. I like the fact that he wrote down every day. Just about he wrote down something every day. The interviews, all these things, he wrote it down. And now you see the two sides, if you will, of Fauci, and they don't look good either way. They come out screwing Americans. They come out screwing. This man wrote this graft until he retired, and he still collects a check. And look, Pete Hegseth, I didn't agree with you, but Pete Hegseth wanted to remove the retirement pay from that military guy for speaking out, whatever he said. Then why can't we do this for Fauci? Why? Why can't we take back his retirement that he still collects upwards of thousands of dollars on our dime? Why? Why can't we do that? This is just disgusting. All these people, it's so infuriating when you still think about it. It is so infuriating.
It is. It really is. From the lockdowns, that was another diary entry where he explicitly took credit for influencing policy. He said that he convinced the New York City mayor, Bill de Blasio, who we showed earlier, to close NYC schools. All right. Then advised closing bars and restaurants. He had another entry about California where he told Newsom's chief of staff told Fauci, the governor, decided to close schools, bars, and restaurants based on my TV appearances. But again, in his public stances, he in 2022 he gave interviews to ABC and The Hill, and in 2024 congressional testimony where he denied recommending lockdowns or school closures, stating variations of "I didn't recommend locking anything down," and claiming he had nothing to do with school closures. I mean, Nicole, we said at the top of the show how we've got so many kids to this day have not caught up from the lockdowns of these school closures. We had suicides. We had kids go hungry because some of them only eat in school.
Yeah.
Why aren't people storming the streets? This is so infuriating.
Do you know what it is? Is they bought the propaganda, and because they're still being fed this propaganda, they are still being fed that COVID was real. This was,
and the media ignores it. They're not reporting on this.
They're absolutely not. How can they when they were complicit? So we're going to ask the fox to be in charge of the hen house, and then be mad when the hens are dead. I mean, that's really where we are with the mainstream media. Here's the problem.
What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch. You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics.
When you had people speaking out, telling the truth, they were shut down in a way that America has never seen before. They erased their whole public persona. When they take you off of all of your social media, right? You're not allowed to leave your house. You can't go to work. Your kids can't go to school. You are effectively erased. And that was, in addition to all of the illness, that was a really scary thing for people who love our civil liberties. When I tell you they took away our rights in front of our face and dared us to do something about it. And Americans on whole sat back and didn't do a damn thing. And that showed them in that moment that Mandami can do what he's doing in New York. The Seattle mayor can do what she's doing in Seattle, because Americans won't fight for the very rights that our forefathers fought and bled for. Fauci just wants to be a rock star, right?
Oh, yeah.
We knew about him in HIV and AIDS. We knew about him in bird flu 1 and 2. We knew about him. We knew that he was waiting for, like Shelley said, a virus to come along that would cement his reputation for the rest of his days. And the rest of the mainstream media.
It was a cover-up of epic proportions. And folks, we, the people, failed. We failed our country because we should have pushed back harder against these people. We really should have. They pushed this test on us. This was an experiment and we failed. They won. And it's just a matter of time before we experience the next thing like this, because they already know that too many of us are going to lay down and give up our rights and everything that goes along with it.